Let's take a look at the first AI-driven feature, text-based editing in Premiere Pro. If you're following along with the exercise files, you're going to just double-click to open it from wherever it's stored on your system. Here you'll see a series of subfolders. We're on Chapter 1, so open up the Leveraging AI in Premiere Pro Chapter 1 folder, and then double-click the Premiere Pro project to open Premiere Pro. Once the project is open, you should see this given layout because we're in the text-based editing workspace. For any reason that you don't, simply head to the workspace icon on the top right of the interface and choose text-based editing. If windows look out of place, you can go back to the workspace menu and then also choose Reset to Saved Layout. In order to start with text-based editing, we need to create a transcript, and we do that within the text panel within the transcript tab. For it to pick up on dialogue, we need to load a clip within the source or program monitor. So let's do that. I happen to have the interviews bin ready for you here in the panel. If you don't see this, from your Premiere Pro project panel, you can go into footage and assets, and there'll be an interviews folder containing the Lindsay sequence. Let's double click that to load it into the source monitor. It sees there happens to be audio within this clip, and all we have to do now is simply click transcribe. A dialog box will open asking us to select the language of the speaker, which happens to be English in this case. But if you're working with another language, Premiere Pro has a ton of options for you. You'll just have to download some of the languages that are available by simply clicking on the cloud icon. Let's choose English in this case. And since it's only one person talking, I don't need to separate the speakers. But if you happen to have a clip with multiple speakers, you could separate them and it will organize it in the transcript accordingly. Let me click on the transcript button and Premiere Pro gets to work creating an auto transcription. So here is the entire 5-minute transcript. One option we have is at the bottom here where we can change the view of the transcript, making the font size smaller or larger depending on our needs. And it just so happens that the speaker's name is Lindsay. So I'm going to head over to any 3-dot icon next to where it says unknown, and I'll edit the speaker name. And let's type in Lindsay, press save, and that will update throughout the transcript. Now, the best part about this is if you click on a word in the transcript tab, your playhead will move to that location. So for instance, if I click on sanctuary, my playhead will move there, and I can pick up and play back from this location. Let's go to the beginning by just clicking on the word my, and I'll just press the space bar to play back from here within the source monitor.
My name is Lindsay Mickelson. I am the owner of Mother, Son, and the Captain, and I make clothing and art products for the modern mother and her family.
So I like that first line that was said, and what I'd like to do is bring this into the timeline. There are a few different ways to bring this into a new sequence/timeline. I'm going to press the O key to make an out point mark just after the word family. If I want to, I could go to the beginning of this transcript and also make an in point, although not required. And you'll see that it highlights that section of the transcript, which we can now easily bring into the empty timeline within Premiere Pro. Now that I've brought this in, we have that segment of our original source clip in the timeline, and you'll see that the transcript tab only displays what we've brought in. So let me just play that back.
My name is Lindsay Mickelson. I am the owner of Mother, Son, and the Captain, and I make clothing and art products for the modern mother and her family.
The other thing that I noticed is that Mickelson is spelt incorrectly, and at any time you can double click on a word in your transcript and make an edit so that it shows correctly. So I'll just type in Mickelson in this case to get Lindsay's correct spelling, and then just click off the tab in order to have that update. If we need to get back to the original source clip, the source monitor happens to be behind the program monitor, and here is that original clip with the entire transcript. And I can, at any time, I can select another segment of this clip. So let's just do that. I'm going to type in the search field the word beach, and we'll see 6 instances of the word beach that come up. What I'll do is now click and drag over this piece of text here. I create products that help suffice my life on the beach, And if I click just here at the top on this little icon to automatically set in and out points, it will now make an in and out point over my given text selection. And I can now drag this segment of the source into my sequence after or before this clip as desired. We'll see that this source monitor updates accordingly with those two clips and the transcript of them being displayed. Now, I just want to show one additional way of editing a clip inside of Premiere Pro once you've made a transcript, and that is we could load the entire clip into a sequence. So just to show this, I'm actually going to clear the in and out points with the clip in my source monitor by pressing Option X. I'll take this entire clip and its raw contents and just place it in the Lindsay sequence that we created. In order to see the entire clip, I'll press the # key. We can see it in its entirety and this transcript. Let me clear the search results and show that there are a few different ways of removing material from this entire source. So if I click on this little icon just next to the search field, you'll see that we can search for text. We can also search for filler words, and it will look for any filler words that are within your transcript. In this case, it doesn't see any that we could then try to remove. Let me click this little icon again and search for pauses, which happen to be identified by the 3-dot icon. Now, we have control over how long pauses are being displayed within the transcript. You can always go here to the 3-dot icon and just choose transcript view options. The minimum pause length is currently recorded at 0.85 seconds, but I can make this shorter or longer by simply dragging on the scroll wheel. I'll just increase this to be just over 1 second and choose save. All of the pauses that it picks up within the transcript are currently highlighted because I've isolated to search for that. And if I want to, I can just click on the delete button and choose a way of deleting these all from the timeline at once. So by default, it's set to removing this as an extract. And if we choose delete all, what it will do is remove those pauses and then make sure that there are no gaps between our clips through the extraction process. If I press on Command Z, we can see the entire clip again. And I'll just go back to this minimizing menu where I'll choose pauses again. This time I'll choose delete. We'll choose lift just to see if I choose delete all. It does remove all of those pauses in the interview, but leaves gaps in between each of the segments that it's now created. I'll press Command Z altogether. Last but not least, when working with text-based editing, if we have a lot of dialogue sources, we can have Premiere Pro process these right away without having to do it manually once we've entered inside of Premiere Pro. To do this, head to the Premiere Pro menu, or on a PC, you're going to go to Edit Preferences from there. From Premiere Pro here, I'll go to Settings, we'll go to Transcription, and there is the option to automatically transcribe clips. We can then choose to do this either on clips that we load into a sequence or all imported clips. And we can also ask it to choose and enable a language auto detection, which will set the default language to English in this case. I'll press OK, and to show this working, I'm going to double click inside the interviews bin. Inside the media folder is a speech to text and captions folder and a clip called ceasing, which I'll select and just choose import. This will bring it inside of Premiere Pro, and on the top right-hand corner, you can see the progress dashboard of it now transcribing your clip automatically because you set that within preferences. If I now close this window and just double click on ceasing, we can see the entire transcript here from this clip in my Finding Creativity in the Age of AI course. And just like we saw with Lindsay's clip, if I click on a word, I'll be able to move to it. If I search for a word, such as cease, it will identify all those words throughout my transcript, which I can easily navigate to by clicking on it and then start to edit from that point. And there is just a few things that you can do with the AI-driven text-based editing inside of Premiere Pro.